Hi.
Hello.
So we have Tim and Sergio.
Right.
All right.
Sergio.
And then real quick, gentlemen, we put on the website, we put on the form, but we do record our Zoom sessions and Zoom consultations and stuff to put up on YouTube, okay?
Okay.
So I went over your consultation form. You got a 6-month-old puppy.
Right.
Noche, correct?
Right.
Having some potty training issues. You did a group Zoom with Paws.
Right.
But you're still having to carry her outside because of mistakes.
Well, here's the thing. Some of it might be me being afraid that, I don't want to have to clean the carpet again or clean the garage or anything. We have a building maintenance staff, but we've lived here 21 years, and over 21 years, we've seen a lot of messes, and I always been like, oh, I can't believe, people leave that. Sure. And I don't want to be that person. So that's where I'm coming from. So where I think I said in there, some of these problems might be our problems and not Noche's problems. That might be one of them. This morning we walked her about halfway down, and then I picked her up because I was getting nervous how she does with her nose.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but another thing I was just reading, and again, I'm telling you the expert, but it said since she's 6 months, she has all her sense of smell. And I'm wondering because she does that a lot now when we're walking her, even when she doesn't have to go. It's just like sweeping, smelling everything.
Sure.
So anyway, so again, some of the problems might be hers, some of them might be ours, and we're trying to figure that out. She just had an accident in the house yesterday. The ones in the house I don't mind so much because you just pick them up and you're done with them. And it's peeing. She hasn't pooed in the house for
I don't know, a month.
Yeah, and I was a little bit concerned about today because normally this time we take her to the park, and she goes, well, we took her out before, and she went actually in an exactly right space. So she's getting the idea.
Look, when?
Oh.
Can you see her in the sofa?
Yeah. So.
She's looking at us like.
She knows we're talking about.
Yeah.
Tell me more. What are you saying?
So anyway. So that's the potty training issues. So,
and then and there was like general just obedience stuff, was it?
Yeah, because see how she's laying right now. She'll just decide to plop herself down
on the floor,
on the sidewalk, on anything, and we can't, get her up without like yanking her. And if she knows we're going to the park, she walks, right by us really well and stuff. But like yesterday coming home, it was like a big tug of war for, a half a mile.
So with her lagging or with her pulling?
She was pulling and I was pulling.
Sure. And what do you walk her on?
We walk her on a leash is it called Martingale leash?
Okay.
But we got a harness. We had trouble with harnesses. We had one for her that she kept snapping out of, and we just got another one yesterday.
I think that one works better.
Yeah, and that's a little bit easier to work with her because I don't,
Have you, is it a front clip or back clip harness?
It's a back clip.
We can put it in the front too because it heals for both.
There's actually a clip on the bottom of her too.
Okay. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't tried that one yet, so I don't know if that makes a difference.
So. Anything else?
Well, again, we're not sure if what we're doing is helping her or causing her problem. It's going to cause her problems. One thing we do is take her to the dog parks, and she loves playing with the other dogs.
Different size dogs.
Yeah, different. Yeah, and she loves the water, and we unleash her and just let her run around. And since she's not good on the leash to begin with, I'm not sure, you know, is that okay that we're doing that, or, you know, should we, again, we don't know what we're doing. So, you know, I've read books and, you know, we talk to people, everybody's got their own thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know what's a problem and what's not a problem. And what, you know, she, with the pause training, one thing she will do is the touch on both of our hands.
The sit, the stay, the wait, the leave it.
She won't lay down, and she doesn't. Walking her is like I said, a big problem. And we'd like, you know, she might not be able to do it now, but just be able to understand how to when she runs off to
come back.
Her to come back. Yeah.
Anything else that you need her or want her to do, obedience wise?
Let's see. Well, want her to walk with us. Want to have her pouch train, which, you know, that. Want her to, you know, understand that she's supposed to come when we're calling her. I want to understand when she's just being stubborn, and then what I should be doing when she just decides she's going to throw a tantrum and just plop down and lay there. The biggest thing with the two of us though is we want to be able to, we don't want to do something that's going to mess her up when she's older. You know, like spoil her or give into her, or neither one of us have trained a dog before. So.
Oh, my biggest argument is that Tim says that he wants to use the treats for for everything that has to do with her obedience. And I said, well, eventually she'll learn it. It's been a month and almost a month and a half.
Yeah.
And we went through the training, and otherwise she doesn't do anything else, but I don't want her to stick to like treats and treats. And
it's
treats.
like, yeah.
Without the clicker, we don't use the clicker.
We don't use the clicker or anything like that, which Paws taught us to do it, but we never did it. Oh, and then one big thing with other dogs, when she sees another dog, sometimes she'll just stop and she'll sit. And this dog could be like a half a block away.
Sure.
And she just sits there until the dog, you know, passes by or whatever.
The fear is that she wants to wait to see how big that dog is. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't don't understand. The other thing is when she comes up to another dog, of course she wants to play. It's to be able to try and she could be like out of control, you know, where you're really like holding on to it. And with little dogs,
but it's not because she wants to attack or bark or anything.
None of it's mean.
It's just play.
Yeah, because she actually, I've never even understood what her bark was, but one of the dogs at the dog park probably evidently taught her how to bark, because she will bark there a few times. But she sleeps through getting her up in the morning. I mean, are we supposed to just leave her in the cage or until she decides she's waking up?
But with the door open and she just like leave on her own, or? Because
we put her in there at 9:30 and we wake up at 7:30. I could sleep till 8:30, 10:30, you know. But she's just, you know, eventually she'll come out, just meander out in her own time. And that's another thing with the training where I get like really afraid to walk her down because I know it's been all night, because I don't understand that dog thing when they go to sleep, you know, where we take her out every 2 hours right now, where she can go, that's like 10 hours. And, you know, so.
That's the very first thing. She gets up at 7:30. That's the first time she goes out. She pees and poops perfectly.
We actually have to, sometimes she's awake, but other times we'll open the door and try and coax her out. She just wants to lay there. So she doesn't want to get up.
So I think we have the morning routine correct. And then after that, there's 2 hours or 3 hours after that. And she goes and pees and poops. The one that we don't figure it out is the one in between.
We have trouble in the afternoon, evening. But again, are we I mean, how do we get her out of it? A lot of times I have to pick her up by the stomach and get her to walk. Or again, we're going into dogs' bathroom habits. I don't.
Okay.
So,
Sure. It's just like a lot of certainty here.
yeah.
Okay, so nothing out the ordinary. It's just not uncommon.
Just she'll get every once in a while she'll get scared by somebody who she actually knows, but then that goes away, you know. So I don't think there's anything unusual.
They're fierce, but it's like
she's not afraid of thunder. She's not afraid of fireworks. We live right across from Union Station, so there's fire trucks and all that. No problems with that. I mean, we're in a car. When we brought her home, we thought we killed her already because we had her in the kennel, and I'm like, so I don't hear anything.
Sure.
And that's just how she was.
And then you guys were referred by Julio Acosta.
Julio Costa. Yeah, he lives down the hall from us, and he has Sona. And Sona is a German Shepherd. And she was like crazy when she was a pup, and I can't believe how much.
With some the same behavior as Noche,
yeah,
smelling everything, and she wouldn't stay still. And
but just getting her to not screwing her up growing up. I've been in therapy all my life because my parents screwed me up. I don't want our dog to be messed up.
I think we better off after the first month that we were before. We have done some things that are good. Like the first thing was letting her in the house to go in everywhere, but that was a big mistake, you know. And now we have her in this confined to the room area.
This is like a den thing that we have her in, or in her crate. But we're letting her now, when we bring her up, wander into the rest of the house, and then for about an hour, and then bringing her back in here. So again, we pretty much don't know what she's doing. When she's like, can you see when she's like this? Then this is the easy part.
Yeah. So, dogs sleep most of the day. So, from everything you've told me, you're not screwing up your dog, so don't worry about that.
Okay, good.
So the carrying her downstairs is fine until what age?
Not screwing her up emotionally.
Okay.
Psychologically. There are some things that are how do you say, not helping, but they're not hurting either.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So with the carrying her down, at this age, she should be able to walk straight down, but you've only had her for 6 weeks, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And she's not fully potty trained. She should be much further along than where she's at, but you got her later on in the puppyhood, so I'm not holding that against you. It is what it is.
Okay.
But technically, she's capable of holding it up to 6 hours right now when she's awake and active.
Okay.
Like, and I think Sergio mentioned that she's on a 2-hour schedule or something.
Yeah.
Currently.
Yeah.
And you got that from the pause group, I'm assuming?
Well, I've got that from like reading, plus also, but the watching her accident schedule. Like the one yesterday happened almost 2 hours, and there it was. So.
Does she have a kennel?
Yes.
Okay. So that part is just formal potty training. So if you keep a dog on a 2-hour schedule, that's what you're creating.
Okay.
And what you want to do is gradually extend that schedule so she's able to hold it for up to 8 hours as an adult dog would.
Okay.
So that's not a problem. That's something that we can help you with.
Okay, good. Okay.
Once we get more of a feel of her, because I understand the concern with going down, because it's very common for puppies in the morning to potty on the way out of the building. Is I think once we catch her up to her age in terms of what she's able to do, that you'll be able to work out with her, no problem.
Okay.
If you'd rather avoid the accident, I personally don't have an issue with you carrying her out, because even from what you've told me, I wouldn't trust her either. Okay. Otherwise, I mean, technically not the biggest deal, but I get it, right? Like just trying to avoid that whole accident thing.
Right.
Until she's reliable in holding it from waking up to going outside. Okay. A lot of the stuff that you're struggling with in the sense of like, do we wake her up and all that stuff is really just uncertainty, right? And for me, it's just make a decision, make the dog do it. So if I wake up at 8 o'clock and I needed to go out to potty, I go grab her leash, grab her collar her up, leash her up, walk her outside. She might be a little sleepy and like, no, I want to keep sleeping. Well, it doesn't matter because right now we're going to go potty, right?
Do we drag her? I mean, literally, especially on the hardwood, she'll plop down and and it's like if we put dusting on her, we could clean the floors with her. So
she doesn't do it once we're in the carpet in the hallway.
Yeah, then she says
gets
it's coming out of the house. She doesn't. Yeah.
So if you try to coax her out, or if you're like trying to be polite about getting her to like go across the board or the floorboard or whatever, the hardwood, you're gonna get that behavior. Okay. So, because it's like if someone is doing something to you or saying something to you that you disagree with, if you say, please don't treat me this way, the please actually empowers the person to keep treating you the way they treat you, right?
I'm a teacher, so
she's yanking our chain. Okay.
I'm a high school teacher, so.
You understand the meaning of assertiveness. Don't talk to me that way, right? It's not a request. It's a command.
Okay.
Same thing for the dog. So imagine the come on, sweetie, come outside, let's go potty, as the pleading. Okay. So no pleading, more leading is what I say. So when you call her up, and if I have to drag her, what she's going to learn is, hey, it's uncomfortable when I'm dragged across a hardwood floor. I better just start walking. Right? You're not going to hurt her. You're not going to screw her up emotionally or psychologically. Okay, because dogs aren't like that, like humans are. Okay. Dogs are very simple. The only way, in my experience, that you would screw a dog up is if you over-aggressively correct or put in too much emotion. So if you're screaming at her, get out the kennel, like that energy is actually what creates the issues, not the fact that you're dragging your dog out the kennel.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah, and that was one thing that was consistent in everything I've read. So when she does accidents, it's like
she already did it.
It's
There's
already
no point
did it.
to argue her to tell her what she did wrong.
Yeah, where inside I do want to, but I don't. So
whenever your dog has a potty mistake inside the home, it's your fault. Okay, so when you start to look at it that way, it makes the potty training process easier because you can't blame her. Right? If you're the human, you know better. But you just need better education on how to potty train. Okay. So that, it's your fault while not your fault, if that makes sense.
No, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, but that's why people like me have jobs. So, So I would just say, don't plead with your dog. Really just make a decision of what you're going to do and then just make her do it. Right. So then if you drag her across the hardwood, we know when she hits the carpet, she walks no problem. And then you decide, I don't want you to potty in the hallway, so I'm going to pick you up. It's very, very much just decision, as opposed to what do I do?
Okay.
The same at the park, because she does the same thing at the park when to drag her from the park.
Yeah.
Can you give me a treat? And the treat is she gets her way. She gets a treat, right? Is that the?
Well, I guess you know what? We need to know how to talk to her.
Yeah.
So I'm not opposed to food for training. However, it's good for puppies under 6 months. Okay. It's when you have a puppy, how do you say? It's like kindergarten training, kindergarten school for them. Okay. But now at 6 months in my book, she's ready for high school, college training. Okay. That's what sets her up for the world. That's what sets her up for when we go to the dog park. It's not a hassle to get her back. It's not a hassle to walk her to the dog park because she's trained to a higher degree, and food won't get you there.
Okay,
period.
That's exactly what we want to do. Yeah.
Before reaching out, did you guys do any research on me? I know Julio referred you, but did you read up on me, how I train, educate yourself?
Right. Yeah, I wasn't on the collar and stuff. That made sense to me. But you know, I read your stuff, and then I read how you do it, but I'll tell you, Sona should be wearing a sign on her, you know, with your phone number.
Sure.
Because I had to take care of her for a couple hours once, and I just can't believe it's the same dog. So,
What do you mean?
she's just so good. I mean, she goes out and jogs with Julio.
Oh, you talk about, I know you talk about her.
Yeah, but
She's older,
like
she's
I said,
2 years.
yeah. But the thing, I did what the electronic collar.
Right.
Yeah. Well, from what I'm reading, that it's you know, a tap and not a you know, like that, right? Yeah.
It's not an electrical shock.
It's the same thing as a click. It's just like a computer way of doing it. It's the new, you know, the new way of doing it. So I don't have a problem with any of that, because I remember reading, and they kept asking over and over, okay, this is, you know, this is what you use. I don't know. I don't get what was the other collar? Were two collars. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Okay, and you're fading away.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I'm gonna go grab the collar real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, good. Okay.
Yeah, either he's like his microphone is not coming off.
Talking about this one?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen those on dogs. Yeah.
Yeah. So e-collar and prong collar, this is a prong collar, are the best tools in my opinion. Okay. And I'm going to educate you on how they work and what the e-collar really is. So for food training, it's good for things you want to see again. Okay. Like if she sits good, like I want to see you do that again, right?
Right.
But it's bad and it's useless for things you don't want to see again.
Right.
So like jumping on people, you know, let's say pulling, like you don't want her to pull you, it doesn't stop pulling, right? Is what makes these tools effective is that dogs are physical animals. Okay. So let's say Noche was at the dog park and she kept jumping on a dog and annoyed the dog. How do you think that dog would correct Noche?
Gonna bite him.
Yeah, it's gonna bite her, right? It's gonna use physicality. It doesn't make that dog aggressive.
Right.
Because people, they think that dogs are these like, how would you say, that all dogs are sweet and they're always nice and they're like just fluffy little clouds and rainbows and stuff.
Yeah.
They're animals.
Right.
And have the structure and discipline amongst themselves. And they don't care if it's their puppy or another dog's puppy. They'll correct it as if it's their own puppy.
Right.
Okay. So e-collar or prong collar is more along the lines of the dog's language. Okay. So the prong collar here, as you can kind of see, you see these little prongs.
Right.
These are meant to mimic a dog bite.
Oh.
Okay. So like, if I'm using this in a correctional sense, which means I want to correct the dog for something I don't like jumping, then the way it's applied is a real quick snap that creates a biting motion to teach the dog, don't do that.
So that when so if that collar were on the dog, you'd have the leash and the collar, but then this would be like a separate type of thing, right? The correct.
Right. And that's only if you need it. I really only use e-collar. Okay. in some cases, we use e-collar with the prong collar because it's a very big dog, like a Great Dane or like a Mastiff that they need just in case physical control, then they do both. A dog like yours, you most likely just need the e-collar.
That's good to hear because that other one, just the look of it.
Yeah, when people, and it's just people, like plenty of dogs that are not aggressive that wear these tools. When people see these things, they think, oh my God, but it just means you have the most control. But how do you say, for your puppy, you most likely just need an e-collar, okay? So have you guys ever been to a physical therapist or a chiropractor?
Both.
Both. Have you ever had the stim therapy, the muscle?
Yes.
Okay, that's an e-collar.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I actually got him something like that for his birthday. That you put the little patches on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an e-collar.
Okay.
So people think it's kind of like they think it's a taser.
Right.
No, that's not a taser. So it's electric, but not electricity. It's very different, right? So there's two probes that make contact with the skin, and where they make contact is the only place the dog feels it. Okay, it feels nothing everywhere else. It's just in that centralized location. Okay.
It doesn't go to their nervous system or to the head or whatever.
Yeah, I've worked with dogs that have seizures. I've worked with dogs with neurological problems. I've worked with dogs with heart murmurs. It has no effect on any of that stuff.
Okay.
Because it's centralized.
Like I said, this all makes a lot of sense to me because I knew when the dogs were playing, if one got out of control, he would nip them,
Yeah.
So I get that. That's,
Yeah. So it's a physical contraction, and it becomes more uncomfortable the higher we go, right? So for the human version, the TENS unit is what it's called. That one, for me, e-collar is more refined than a TENS unit because TENS units, like if you have a pacemaker, they have to be very careful or they can't use it on you at all. Okay. Because it's more electrical or electricity than it is an e-collar. So the great thing about e-collar is it's very easy to learn. It's effective. It removes a lot of technical skill, right? You don't need to use food. For puppies, I use food a lot when we train dogs, but you guys aren't dog trainers. You're dog owners and you just want your dog to listen. Right? That you don't need to learn all these other skills. And there's skills that you're going to learn that aren't even going to work in the long run. So it's pointless. That's why for me, when I get puppies, I tell people, don't even worry about that stuff. Worry about the potty training, the behavior stuff, and the crate training, because that is important. I get dogs that are 5 years old, never been trained, and I train them to be off leash in a few weeks, because of the tool. So, and the last thing is you get off leash control. So if you're at the dog park,
right. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but they're repainting the balconies out here. So okay, yeah. Sure, yeah.
Is you get off leash control. So if you're at the dog park and she's playing with her friends and you call her and she decides like, no, I don't want to come. Well, you can make her come back because you have a tool that connects you.
Okay.
Right. With the leash or with the prong collar or food, if you have food, but playing with her friends is more rewarding, then the food doesn't matter.
Right.
If you have a leash on a prong collar, which is better, as soon as you take the leash off the prong collar, now you don't have a means of contact anymore. Right. So e-collar is the only tool that'll guarantee you that you can make your dog come back.
Okay.
The first thing that we teach is always leash walking. Okay. My style of leash walking is if I take 1 step, the dog takes 1 step, I take 5 steps, they take 5 steps. When I stop, they automatically sit. This is with a completely slack leash, and I don't care what the environment is. I don't care if there's dogs, people, skateboarders, rollerbladers. I want that level of attention. Okay. And it sounds very complicated, but it's very easy to teach because of e-collar. Okay. That's usually 2 classes. And then the recall or come when called is we usually follow after that is another 2 classes. Okay. And then, because I have different program lengths of 3, 6, 9, and 12.
Okay.
From what you're telling me here, you're probably in that 6-week range. That's why, and I'll check in with you, but what determines the length of the program is how much control do you want? right? So if it's just, I don't want my dog to pull, I want my dog to come back, and I want to work on the potty training, then I go, that's easy, that's 6 classes.
Uh-huh.
If you wanted, no, I want my dog to do all these things, plus sit and down and not move for 2 hours, and I want to be able to hike with my dog off leash, then that's a longer program.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And what we've done is we've added 2 Zoom sessions to all our programs. So it's up to 6 classes in person, and then plus 2 Zoom sessions.
Okay.
Right. So the Zoom sessions we would use for the potty training stuff, right? So that we can use the in-person stuff for the e-collar training and the training outside and the come when called stuff, the stuff that we need to do in person.
Okay.
Right. And if needed, if you need an extra Zoom session, then you can always turn one of those other ones into a Zoom session. It's not a problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we, if after 6 sessions that we decide, we want to learn some other things, can we add on to that then? Or
yeah. So the lengths that I have is 6, 9, and 12.
Okay.
Okay. From what I'm hearing, you're in the 6-week range. Okay. So imagine 6 weeks is I walk my dogs to the dog park. I don't want them to pull. I'm at the dog park. I want them to come back. Right. That's what those 6 classes. Well, we usually get more done, but that's typically like the families that have that lifestyle is typically that's their program. Then I walk my dog to the dog park. I want them to come back, but then I want to go to a restaurant and eat lunch with my friends and bring my dog outside, but I don't want them to be all over the place.
Uh-huh.
Right. So then we teach the down command, which is you lay down, you don't move for 2 hours.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then my 12-week program is all of that stuff. Plus they want their dog to be off these trains so they can go hiking with them. They can take them to the beach. They can take them to the, a cabin on the lake, and there's deers and raccoons and squirrels and stuff like that. And they have control over their dog.
Okay. You just brought up something that I forgot about. She likes to when she's like sniffing around, it's hard to tell if she's looking for a place to use the bathroom or if she's looking for rocks and dry leaves and stuff like that. So I'm not sure where that would fit in, but I'm sorry?
That's easy.
Okay, fine. Then,
yeah.
So she starts also like digging in the ground.
Wow, that's okay. So in other words, you got me to a point now where I feel like I don't have to come home and cry because this will never change. So, okay.
It's all easy stuff.
Okay, good. Okay.
So the reason why that's easy is because e-collar also serves as a correctional tool. So aversives are meant to stop things, right? So I was raised old school. I was spanked. So if I didn't do my homework, if I talked back, if I didn't clean my room, spank, spank, spank.
Yeah.
So it's one consequence for a lot of things. So it's the same thing for the dog. If Noche tries to mount a dog, tries to jump on a dog, or tries to play too rough with the dog, it's bite, bite, bite. Right? One consequence for a multitude of behaviors. So e-collar allows you to have consequence, but at the press of a button. So if she's off the leash and she's digging, don't do that. If she's off the leash and she's trying to eat goose poop, don't do that. Okay. So the only thing is we have to teach the come when called first before we do off leash corrections because we don't want to scare the dog away. Okay. And of course I work through all that with you. If there's anything that she does in the house that you don't like, I do cover other ways of correcting your dog, that isn't reliant on the e-collar in the home. But outside, your dog would need an e-collar, okay? One of the most common questions I get is, when does the e-collar go away, right? And I believe you mentioned with Julio and Sona that she still wears the e-collar, correct?
I don't think she does, so
I've never seen her with it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it looks like, and she's got one on. I didn't notice it. So.
Yeah.
It doesn't look.
Yeah.
It's like it's a square little box.
Okay.
You see it on the
okay, I think I seen that.
Yeah,
I seen something. Yeah.
Okay. I know, like I said, I didn't notice.
But I have never seen it pushing a button or anything like that.
Yeah. So actually,
You have one?
okay, so this is the collar.
Okay.
So it's usually on the neck like this.
Uh-huh.
So if she's got a thick coat, if it's a German Shepherd, they might cover it. But this is the collar itself.
Okay.
And she's small, so it'll look kind of clunky on her right now.
No.
But she'll grow into it.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of people ask, when does it go away? And I'll tell them, when you need it, it doesn't. Okay. But you're not always having to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So do you gentlemen drive?
I do.
Yeah.
You do. Do you go on the expressway ever?
Yes. Well, yes.
Do you go the speed limit?
No.
Yeah. Why don't you go the speed limit?
Because I don't need to.
You don't. It's
He
the law.
wants to. He doesn't want to.
So and me too. Like, no judgment here. Most people don't.
I'm an insurance agent too, so I shouldn't be answering.
So common.
You recorded it.
Yeah.
Is animals are opportunistic, okay, and humans are animals. So when we can get away with something without consequence, we may try to do so. Okay?
Oh, I know that. I know that from my students, very much so.
So, and we're the most intelligent species, right? Like if we know it's wrong to speed, so to speak, why are more people speeding than not?
Uh-huh.
Right? Because we're opportunistic. Your dog is opportunistic. Think of the e-collar as a cop on a collar. So when it's present, Noche is going to be much more well-behaved because she knows she can't argue with you.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But it doesn't mean that you're always having to use it. Once we've trained it, it's present just in case you need it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And this is speaking, of course, if you've done your homework.
Uh-huh.
If
Okay.
you've not done your homework, then you're going to have a different experience. That's a different conversation. Okay. My dogs are e-collar trained. They've been e-collar trained for 8 years now. If I know they're going to be off leash, they still wear the e-collars. Okay. Because my dogs are scared of fireworks, for one. So if someone lets off a random firework, even when it's not 4th of July, I can make my dog come back.
Uh-huh.
If a squirrel decides to run right in front of my dogs and their instinct kicks in to chase a squirrel, I can stop that behavior. Okay. People think of dogs as little humans that will learn things and then decide to be a good dog. Like, no. Like, dogs don't have good and bad. That's a human thing. Your dog knows what she can do and what she can't do. That's it, right? And when she can do it and when she can't do it. Okay, it's that simple. So when you have the appropriate call and you've done the training, it's present in case life happens and you need control, case of an emergency, you have it. Or maybe she just forgot because, she's a dog. She's not, going to be a robot.
Uh-huh.
That you're able to reinforce it, but it's very easy to do so.
Okay. This couch is the perfect example of what you're talking about.
She's not allowed on the couch?
Well, we didn't want, no, she's now allowed on this one, we gave up. But the thing is if we both left the room, we'd come back and she would be standing there on that part of the couch, like looking at us. Seeing if she could get away with doing this. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So, the way I would, imagine your program going is, again, 2 classes on heel, 2 classes on the recall stuff, and then maybe sitting down, unless something else comes up, and then the 2 Zoom sessions we can use to cover potty training, and then whatever other kind of miscellaneous questions you may have. Potty training does take time, and you guys are unfortunately a little bit delayed in the process. Just means she's going to be a little bit older by the time she's fully potty trained. Okay. Any questions for me?
No, I think I've been asking them. Oh, I do have one. Okay. We were going away for 5 days, and originally we had it planned for the end of August, and we had to move it up to August 9th for 5 days. Will we run into a problem with, is that okay? Okay.
Yeah. It's a, I've had people not disappear, but like have to like leave out the country for months,
Uh-huh.
right? Like just out of nowhere and stop the training, and then they came back and we just picked up, no problem.
Okay, good. Okay, fine. Okay.
If you may already have her set up, but if you need her for if you need a place for her to stay, we do have a facility.
We're actually going to take her.
We're taking her.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
but just so you know,
Great.
after training or during training, if you ever have to leave or behind, we reinforce all the training. Okay, it's built into how we operate in our facility. Is if you bring her training tools when she's here, we reinforce everything. So that this way, like she doesn't get spoiled and then like I don't want to say forget, but like learns bad behaviors, and then you get her back and it's like, oh, now we have to refix things.
So you all board dogs? Yeah.
We do daycare boarding and board and trains. Yep.
Oh, okay. Because I obviously it's hard to go anywhere right now, but we do. We don't enjoy Christmas in Chicago, so. And I know that has to be planned way in advance, but.
Yeah, but just so you know, if you guys ever have to travel and you want a place for her to stay, she'd be more than welcome to be here. Okay.
Oh, excellent. Okay, then can you with the collar, can you help us find what you think is a good one, or?
Yes, correct. So how big are we expecting Noche to get?
I don't know. It's not going to be any bigger than twice that size. So I don't, because I've seen labs and some of them are like really big, fat, and some of them are thinner. She seems to be a little bit on the thinner side. She's female, and she's
34 pounds now.
Yeah.
35 now.
Yeah. The collar that she has, is that a large?
15.
Her neck is like 15, I think 15 inches around right now. So.
Okay. She's 34 pounds and she is 6 months, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So unless she has a growth spurt, you're probably going to get maybe a 40 to 50 pound dog.
I said 50 at the most.
Okay. And she's, it's noticeable how much that she did get a lot bigger just right now. So, not this week, but
yeah.
Better, but.
So in terms of cost, the 6-week program plus the 2 Zoom sessions, so like 8 sessions in total, is $25. Plus, you'd get the credit from this consultation.
Okay.
That, and the collar that she would need is for dogs that are 70 pounds and under.
Okay.
So even if she gets a little bit bigger, like you're still covered.
Okay.
She may look a little silly because she's a pup right now, but she'll grow into it.
Right.
And that one runs about $287 with tax.
Okay.
Okay. It's the best brand of collar, and Maria will send you all this information as well.
Perfect. Okay. Okay.
I've had mine for 8 years, no issues. So it's an investment, but it'll last you a really long time.
Okay.
They're waterproof, and it's a 3/4 mile range, so plenty of range for your standard family pet.
Okay.
And then how'd you say? It would be appropriate to her size, even if she happens to have a growth spurt and is bigger than the 50 pounds that we expect.
Okay.
Okay. We have had to change things due to COVID. So what we do is we meet everybody at Oz Park.
Right.
Right now we have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we've been just slowly filling the days and expanding them. But I like Oz Park because there's a lot of people, there's dogs, there's distractions. So you're trained in a very realistic environment.
Yeah, and I actually already spot heroed to see what parking was around there. There's a boatload of parking around it. So.
Yeah, and there's a lot of free parking as well.
Oh, there is? Okay.
Park, yeah.
How long did the sessions last? Is it an hour, 2 hours?
Correct.
Now.
Yeah.
And then it's really just play it by ear. The first session, of course, we'll start with the leash training, and then we just build off of that. I can only take you as far as you're willing to go. So if you're not practicing, don't expect to make much progress, even though you're using a very effective method. We will supplement you with some training videos. So before you start your first session, I'm going to email you and send you a batch of videos to watch prior, so that when you show up, you're ready to go. Okay. And then we use that in-person time to really get the most out of that 1 hour time frame.
Okay. So our first homework would be just to watch the videos.
Correct. Yeah, and you'll get those before you even start.
Okay.
Okay. And the videos on how to teach you about the e-collar, how it works, and what to look for, and just understand that you don't need to use it. You just need to watch them to get an understanding of it, so that when you come into the session, you're not trying to learn what the tool is while you're.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
No. With the two of us, I mean, will we both? I don't know how to put this. If one of us knows how to do it with the other one too, I mean, is that?
Oh,
This is what's going to happen. If I go back to work, I'm a teacher, I have to be on site.
Right.
Back in the building, Tim will be most, we both need to be trained, but you will be most of it with her in the morning.
Yeah, my schedule is like, I've got a standing, I think I told you this on the thing, I've got a standing meeting at 1 o'clock on Tuesdays, and then I have another one now at, it's like at 9 o'clock on Fridays.
Sure.
Yeah, and so those two, but everything else, I just fit my schedule around.
Okay. Yeah. So that shouldn't be a problem. Maria will help coordinate with you. In regards to another benefit to e-collar is that it transfers very quickly.
Okay.
But once Noche has learned the exercise and you just teach Sergio what to do, it should transfer over. But then he just needs to develop his skills at using the tool.
Okay.
I will watch the videos. I will go to the sessions.
Yeah.
What he's just saying is come fall, if they go back to school.
Yeah. The other thing, of course, we've also been filming everything. So he could, if he's not able to make it due to his work, he can just watch the training video.
Okay.
So if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see full uncut videos of us working with clients at Oz Park.
Oh, that was what I was going to ask you. Where can I see you on the training sessions with other people, if that's possible?
Yeah, just go to, if you go to YouTube, if you go to my website and you click on any of our videos, it'll take my YouTube channel.
Okay.
I have I think it's like 400 videos now, and we're recording everything, putting it up on the internet. Because since it's only verbal instruction now, it's a lot of information. You're going to forget some stuff, right?
And how long have you been doing this for?
How long?
Yeah.
10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for 10 years. So if you forget something, you go back to your video and just go to what you forgot, and there you go.
Okay.
And if you struggle with something, and if I have another client that has the same issue and is making progress, I can then say, well, here, watch this, so you have an idea of what you're trying to accomplish. Your case is very simple, so I highly, highly doubt you're going to have any problems.
Okay.
Because I specialize in aggression and separation anxiety and nervousness, which is
separation anxiety.
Well, yeah. Isn't that kind of normal? I mean, if we walk in the kitchen, she comes into the kitchen, but when we put her in her crate, I mean, she's fine. So,
yeah.
That's because we're in here with her.
Well, no, in the
but
crate.
But we haven't left her 1 hour at least by herself. We have only done it twice.
Not in the house. I'm not wandering around the house, but in the crate,
yeah. Yeah, so worst case scenario, because that separation anxiety might go away with the formal discipline on content.
Okay.
I don't think you have a bad separation anxiety problem, because if you did, it would be a hot topic. You know what I mean? Worst case scenario would be if you leave and she barks, is you just get a bark collar.
Yeah, no, she's fine.
Yeah. So, and then I can give you insight on how to prevent that as well, because, once quarantine or whatever kind of things go back to normal, if she's used to you guys being around 24/7, there will be some potential issue there. So I'll give you some insight on how to prevent that. And then, I would just suggest you start that sooner rather than later.
Okay.
So you don't try to, last minute project it, and hope to get it done the week before. This is something that you want to start instilling now.
Right. I think she's pretty good about that. I mean, there's some things that I don't know who taught her or who did it, but it's like, wow, we could have some big issues that we don't have. I mean, the crate training her, the first time we left, she barked a little bit and then she stopped. But then after that, she might whine a little bit, but we leave.
Now,
and
when
she's
we leave her in this room, she jumps on that.
yeah, this is a problem. We can't just leave her in here. We have to put her in the crate.
Or she pees she pees
yeah.
to let us know that she did it too. But we left her alone, and she's like, "This is your punishment."
Mad at us, yeah.
Clean it up.
All that stuff is pretty standard for a puppy.
Okay.
There's nothing that I'm picking up that I would say is a problem, waiting to happen or whatever.
Okay.
The simple fixes, it's just you need, how do you say, better information than you got from, I understand those 5 other people in the group, which is why I don't do groups unless, it makes more sense to do group training when the people have already done private training, because they've already done everything. And then it's like, okay, now I'm going to put my dog in a group training where it's more complicated, but I already know everything.
Right. There was a lot of things that were specific to Noche that, you bring the other, it wouldn't mean anything to the other people in the group.
Yeah, we're wasting their time, and when they were talking about it, they were, we don't have the issues with that, so it wasted our time. So we didn't maximize the hour for.
But we got the general idea of what's.
But yeah, dogs are a little bit more complicated than general idea. So.
Right. I know that. And again, talking to you, it's almost like talking to my therapist. It's like I feel so much better because I'm like, what did we do?
Well, you're telling us as it is, and you have 10 years of training. You deal with dogs that are at a level that is hard because it's like, they're aggressive, and so you have approach it a different way. But
she's not like that. So
not like that.
So
she's very friendly. She wants to be better by people. As much as the lunge to people and kind of like getting from other people.
Yeah. No, it's always appropriate to the dog and the personality type and everything. So yeah, I'm well aware of that.
So then what happens next today? Do we get a thing from?
Yeah, I'm gonna call Maria. Okay. And I'm going to update her, and then she'll get in contact with you.
Okay.
Send you some form to fill out. She'll send you the e-collar that I recommend.
Okay.
And go over, the price again, just so that you reiterate. Okay. And then she'll handle all the scheduling and stuff. I don't know what my schedule looks like. I've learned not to talk about it because it just changes every day.
So one day we'll just show up and you'll be like,
yeah.
Pretty much we have been booked all this time since March.
Well, but he's working. You're working just so far. You said Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
Right now we have Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
And then she'll get and then once we fill up those days, then we're going to open it up to Monday.
Okay.
Since I went from 40 clients pre-COVID to 0.
Oh.
Quarantine happened, and now we had to rebuild our clientele. But the problem was, since there's no income, and I have a facility with a very big rent, to save money, I'm here, because I'm free work essentially.
Right.
And now we're starting to ramp up our business, so it's literally starting from scratch.
Yeah. So.
But we're doing much better than we were, in mid-March. So.
Wow, you went from all of that to 0. That's like
no, I've got some businesses that I insure that it's been,
Well, I'm glad it's going back up, and we're contributing to
we'll contribute to your success.
We appreciate it, definitely, especially at this time. Otherwise, if you have any other questions or concerns, feel free to reach out. And then, feel free to go to my website, click on the video. It'll take you to my YouTube channel. And, we also do it because people were concerned that if I'm not touching the dog, is the dog going to still be reliably trained? And it's yes. I don't need to touch the dog. It's e-collar is that's why I love it so much, because it's simple to teach and you get effective results right off the bat.
The concept all makes perfect sense to me, and also the technology part of it, because all businesses are being revolutionized by technology, so it's just a better way to do something. So I get it. So
if you need anything else, you let us know. Otherwise, it was a pleasure talking to you, gentlemen.
Okay,
right,
and we'll be seeing you whenever we get.
Whenever we have the schedule with you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Like I said, I feel so much better. So thank you. So, all right.
All right. Bye-bye.